we have got some massive details revealed on Avatar: The Way of Water thanks to a TV spot, a Spanish TV spot that was recently posted online, and in this video I'll be breaking down that specific 30-second TV spot and just discuss my overall thoughts on what was revealed. Avatar Theory here, hope you're doing well and having a fantastic day, and before I continue there are two things that I need to point out. Firstly, this discussion video will contain some spoilers for Avatar: The Way of Water, as this 30-second ad did reveal a lot more than I expected, so do please keep that in mind while continuing to watch this video. And secondly, this was a Spanish TV spot and not a leak, so it's not somebody that recorded some footage from the side of watching an early version of this movie. This was actually a TV spot in Spain that was recorded by a user on the Kilotral Discord server, so all credit goes to that user who recorded it and uploaded it on their server. Now, like I said, there are some spoilers, so you have been warned. Now, the TV spot starts out with Jake and his family flying to the Metkayina reef in an image we've seen before, as we can clearly see the Metkayina reef in the background as well as 5 banshees. It then proceeds to show the kids on Ilus, again a shot we've seen before. We then see a shot of Tonawari talking to Jake, and he says to Jake, quote, "You do not know the sea," where Jake responds by stating that he will learn their ways, of course referring to that him and his family will learn the ways of the Metkayina. We then get a new shot of Jake with some sort of metal container or something in the background, and I'm trying to figure out what that is, as you can clearly see a ladder on the left hand side, and looking at the colors and just the shape of this metal container or this vehicle, it kind of reminds me of that train that's flipped in the latest trailer or the last trailer of The Way of Water, where we saw that slow motion shot of the train cart being flipped over with the bridge being destroyed, and right behind it you can see there is some sort of metal container, some sort of carriage, and like I said, that's the only thing that resembles this metal container in the back behind Jake. I might be wrong though, but my assumption would be that this is likely happening in that scene. We then get a shot of Jake and his family, one we've also seen before, as well as Neytiri talking about family, where Jake says that family is his fortress, followed by those ships destroying the forests of Pandora. Again, I'm still uncertain as to what these are, but the shots to follow are the ones that excite me the most and certainly gives more detail than I expected. Firstly, we see a shot of Recom Quaritch dropping down into the forest along with more Recoms in the back, and then we see a very exciting shot of Recom Quaritch watching a video log of his human self, of his human version, where he briefly talks about the Recom program. The line that the human Quaritch says in this video log is, quote, "If you're watching this, then we have been brought back in the form of our enemy, where their size, their strength, their speed," end quote. And interestingly, Recom Quaritch gives a familiar line by stating outstanding. Of course, I'm saying that this is familiar because Jake gave the same line in the first movie in his avatar form, so it's kind of mirroring that scene in the form of Recom Quaritch. The fact that Quaritch says in this video log that, you know, if you're watching this, then we've been brought back, shows that the Recom program has been in the works for quite some time. Now, of course, he must have been aware of the Recom program if they backed up his consciousness or his memories, but it is just interesting to hear him talk about this, tell, you know, the viewer, which is essentially his Recom version, about this, and just the way his Recom version looks at the screen is kind of in surprise, kind of in like a shock. And it makes me wonder, when is this memory dated? Like, when or what does this Recom Quaritch remember? And I tried to look at the date of this video log, but it is quite blurry because the user did record this on their phone while this ad was playing on TV. So it's kind of hard to make out the date. I couldn't really make out the exact date because I was trying to figure out if this takes place during the first movie, but unfortunately I couldn't really make out the date. But this certainly makes me excited about what happened during the first movie that we just don't know about. Now, of course, while the human Quaritch is delivering this line, we get treated to quite a few interesting scenes. Like I said, the first one, a Recom and Recom Quaritch himself watching this video log and looking at their dog tags and just the way their body is positioned, it seems like they might be floating in space in zero gravity, which gives me the indication that this could potentially happen on their way to Pandora right before they land, akin to the opening scene of the first Avatar movie. In fact, many many of these scenes from this TV spot, the way Quaritch is floating, the way he looks at his avatar hands for the first time, and just the way he says outstanding, is almost an exact replica of the first movie, but just from the perspective of Quaritch. Now, when Quaritch looks at his avatar hands for the first time, you can see two avatars or two Recoms standing right behind him, and in the next shot we can actually see Quaritch and the Recoms capturing the kids of Jake and Neytiri. It seems that in the scene right at the back you see Spider, Took is there, and then in the foreground you see Quaritch grabbing the hair of Loak. And the next scene we see Jake and Quaritch battling it out, kinda confirming my theory where I stated that Jake and Quaritch will have a final conflict in the water, and in that video theory I stated that towards the end of the battle Jake will wrap chains around Quaritch, which will drag him to the bottom of the ocean. Now, looking at this fight scene, you can just see the force Quaritch has when he kicks Jake backwards, and it's almost like Jake didn't expect that kind of brute force from Quaritch. You can also see both of them wielding knives, and it does seem like there's already blood on both of the knives. But what's more interesting is if you look at the background, you can clearly see that this happens inside a sea dragon. Based on that yellow railing, the texture on the ground, and just everything surrounding it, this is without a doubt happening inside a sea dragon, and is likely the final confrontation between Jake and Quaritch. So it's very interesting that they would show this in a TV spot, and you can even see right at the top, if you look at this fight scene, it does seem like the sea dragon is on fire based on that yellow-orange color coming from the top, and you can also see the sparks coming from the top, which again indicates that there is some sort of fire happening in the sea dragon, which makes me wonder if this is the sea dragon that we saw in one of the trailers, which showed its one turbine being on fire. The next shot is just of the Recoms again on the Banshees, something we have seen before, and then represented with the outstanding line from Recom Quaritch, and right behind him is Lyle Wainfleet in his Recom body. Then we're given the scene we've seen all too many times where Neytiri says that we must protect the people, followed by the beautiful shot, which again we've seen before, of the Metkayina, the Skimwings, and the Tulkuns. Then we're shown the scene of the sea dragon where the turbine is on fire, which I just spoke about moments ago. Then closing out this TV spot, we see Neytiri on the Banshee, which again we've seen on the last trailer, followed by a new shot, a stunning shot of Tonowari jumping out of the water on a skimwing, preparing to strike with his spear. He just looks absolutely menacing in the shot, and this is without a doubt going to be an incredible shot in 3D when watching it in the IMAX. So overall, like I said, there is quite a lot to take away from this 30-second TV ad, and I'm not going to play the TV ad on here for obvious reasons, but it is really interesting that they chose to show this much in a 30-second TV ad, as this not only gave us a lot of action, but a ton of story details as well. But what do you think of Recom Quaritch in this TV spot? Let me know in the comments below, and for more Avatar content, have a look at the rest of my channel. Until next time, have a fantastic day and stay safe.